anyone could have resulted in the same way. They would end up, anybody would end up like, there's no difference out there.
Well, okay, tell me the sequence of events that happened when from the rotation, what happened?
On the rotation time, the thrust was at 94.6%, and it just
94.
94%. This is 94 something percent, and it was okay, no problem with the thrust level position, but the angle of attack vane, which is on the left side.
They didn't know about the angle of attack vane. They only know what indications they had of a coupling.
But from the initial part of the flight, there was a difference between the first services and the captain's altitude indicator, the speed indicator, and also the flight director command. The captain's side, he was a pilot flight, as the report says. The captain's side shows it changes, let's say, up to seconds from pitch 15 up to 17 seconds.
And anything about this?
Yeah. And actually, when it's
so the stick shaker activated and remained active for the remainder of the flight.
The remainder of the flight.
All right.
That's
So right away, what is that?
What do you mean by what's
Yeah,
that?
right away. Listen, man. You've got airspeed differences in a stick shaker. It's so obvious which checklist you do.
Yeah.
Which checklist?
Airspeed level?
Of course.
Yeah. Airspeed level.
Which we just did in the simulator,
Yeah.
right? So airspeed unreliable has all these conditions, right? They had almost all of them. And everything was on his side. So why did he stay pilot flying? Why did he not ask for the airspeed unreliable memory items or the checklist? So now, try it. Have a look at pull out the checklist.
Yeah.
This is you'll watch what you're gonna learn now.
Yeah. And
So listen, I'm rotating, and all of a sudden, stick shaker on my side. I see maybe the red hollow bars up here, and I see fluctuation. Right away, what you would do is you would do a quick scan anyways, right?
Yeah.
And as per the procedure, what are the memory items?
Memory items is putting the autopilot.
Right.
It's putting the autopilot.
Right.
The flaps are up.
Yeah.
In this case, the flaps are not up.
Right.
So in this case, the flaps are not up. We make the pitch to 4.8%.
Are you sure 4 degrees pitch?
Yeah.
4 degrees pitch?
Yes, 4 degrees pitch.
Not with flaps extended. They just rotated, so they have flaps 5.
Yeah.
So what's the pitch for flaps extended?
For the flaps extended, it's pitch 10.
See? But you already mixed it up. That doesn't matter. So pitch 10, auto throttle off, set power 80%, unreliable airspeed, right? So now you would do autopilot off, auto throttle off, right? Okay?
Yeah,
pitch,
with the flaps 5, we do the pitch 10.
yeah. So
yes.
and then you're pitching 10 degrees, and now you are flying 80% power. It's cav okay, runway 072, the hill is there, it's all flat in front of you. And when you set the power at 80% flaps 5, will the aircraft descend, level off, or climb? Correct.
Slightly.
And the speed will slowly increase, very slowly. So now the pilot flying, in this case if it was him, would say airspeed unreliable at memory items, completed. Airspeed unreliable, non-normal checklist. And if you open up the checklist, it starts with throw B check on, and then you go through the diagnosis, right? And then it basically says when you figure out who is got the problem, they become pilot flying. So the first officer should have become pilot flying. This should have been selected to 2, which it wasn't. It was left at 1. So there was no memory items done, no checklist read, and because they did that, they started to select the flaps up. It wasn't unlucky. There was a bad plan. So by not doing the unreliable airspeed, they just would have stayed at flaps 5. They would have said, look, we're overweight, we can't make it to Nairobi, I've got a stick shaker here the whole time, you have control, let's do the after takeoff checklist, or the QRH, right? Come back in for overweight landing, end of story. But they didn't do it. They went and they selected the flaps up. Didn't do the unreliable airspeed at all, selected the flaps up, left the power at 94%, and they just started to go like a rocket. Do you remember when they hit VMO?
I don't remember
2 minutes,
the time.
20 seconds after takeoff. They exceeded 340 knots.
Yes.
Is that the way we fly an airplane? This was working. Right? And then the problem so they disregarded the unreliable airspeed. The report says the flaps went from 5 to 0. Didn't say 510.
Yes, 5 to 0. Yes, I remember.
Right, so that's already another problem, right? So now it says that it trimmed. Do you remember the trim value?
On what time?
Do you know how many revolutions that trim was? 31 revolutions in 9 seconds. 31 revolutions in 9 seconds. Now, is that runaway stabilizer or what? It never trims more than 5 revolutions. If you're doing auto land, it might back trim 10 to 13. And it goes zoom, 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 zoom. Not right? Over 30 seconds later, then they came with the first officer to do the cutout.
Yes.
Right? Now the weird thing is all of the report, there's trims again. There's electric trim up, trimming down, up, down. So they turn this back on at least 3 times. What does the AD say? The ETH-12, what does it say? It says, leave it cut out for the remainder of the flight. And the fact that they put those back in, had the power at 94, and were totally lost, the plane went basically subsonic. It went beyond all design. And now, when the stabilizer is here, and you're pulling back, it looks like this, right? The air is there's blowback, you're dead.
Do you think that they reintroduced the stabilizer trims again?
Well, how did it do electric trimming?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, because it's obvious they must have.
Definitely, yes. But in this case, what actually, I'm not sure to tell this, but to be logical, without them putting the stabilizer trims